Hello and welcome to Lessons in the Sanctuary. We're going to be talking about we the people. And these lessons are coming from the sanctuary because they are about the truth, and the truth is our sanctuary. Love of country. We need to love this country the way a mother loves her children. We need to be proud of her like parents are of their children. There are citizens here who were citizens of other countries first. They came here with hope that they hoped to escape slavery or dictatorships or famine in their homeland. When their new country needed them, they answered the call just like those who were born here. There was a movie based on a book called Born Free. I have read it and seen it. Yes, it's about lions, but it has a lesson to tell us about freedom. When you stop and think about what this country has gone through to be free and stay free, it's humbling. It's even more humbling when you think about the hardships many of our matriarchs and naturalized citizens went through to get here. They didn't take their newfound freedom for granted. We shouldn't either, but many of us do. We forget that there was a cost to pay for that freedom. Some of those naturalized citizens came from places that were once free and lost it, so they know freedom can be lost in the blink of an eye. They are just as proud to be Americans as we are, yet many of us are suspect of their loyalty, but they know, just like we do, that freedom isn't free. This nation is the land of the free because of the brave, and it doesn't matter where our freedom founders were born. Why? Because they are just as willing to die for the cause of freedom as we are. Lies are tearing this great country to shreds. Those who are spreading them like a virus need to be contained and held accountable for their lies. There's no excuse for their lies and deplorable conduct. They are assassinating this country with their lies. We need to keep bringing them to justice. They need to understand that their actions are wrong, not just in God's eyes, but in ours. You see, those who lie to keep themselves in power are really cowards. They love power more than they love their country. That's why we should never back down from the truth or telling it. You don't have to be afraid of the truth, but you do have to be afraid of lies. You tell of the lies you tell because they will find you out. True victory comes from telling the truth. Check out the song, March On, singing a victory song. We march for the truth because it's our victory song. Let's march to the drum of that victory song. While we are lashing out, we have let's sing that victory song while we still can. Last was we have the flag of truth. You see, it's the white flag with the cross of freedom in the middle. When you are guilty of breaking the law, you do not attack those who arrest you or threaten them. Why? Because that only makes the crime you were arrested for worse. There's no freedom in jail. Mob violence is never the correct response. Our system of justice is there for us as a fair way to address our concerns and settle our disputes. I was once on the jury of a civil case, and it was quite an interesting experience. The Bible tells us to try and settle our differences out of court. 1 Corinthians 6:1, and also verses 4 and 6. Filing frivolous lawsuits is costly and it needs to stop. An institution like ours does not define itself. Does not define itself. It takes people. Does not defend itself. It takes people who strongly believe in that institution to stand up and defend her. We do that by doing our duty and refusing to yield to pressure from those who are doing her harm, are doing harm to her. It takes vigilance. Our best weapon is always the truth. When you disagree with leaders, the best way to let them know is by voting at election times. That works the same for the propositions on the ballot. All of our freedoms, including the right to vote, are gifts from God and our forefathers. Some say the long arm of history brings itself freedom and justice. That's true, but the long arm of history builds itself in freedom and justice. That's true, but we have to build it in that direction. You see, those two go together. They back each other up. In those first Corinthians 6 verses I just mentioned, as talking to both Christians and unbelievers. We believers accuse each other just like unbelievers, even though we know it, we shouldn't. we see verse 2b and verse 3b. One reason is that many judges are not Christians. This is still the most powerful nation on earth. The power of America is in its united defense of our Constitution and our commitment to the cause of freedom, not just in our own nation, but worldwide. Let's take our cue from that famous address by Mr. Lincoln, where he tells us the great task remaining before us is to ensure that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. He was right then, and he still is. We are free when we obey God. We are slaves when we stop. You may send your prayer request to He Answers, TWO, @gmail.com.